Shares of Tilray brands are under some pressure today after the cannabis company posted second quarter earnings that missed expectations. Cannabis revenue declined 2% from last year, while revenue in the alcohol unit improved by 34%. For more on these results and more on the cannabis industry and the company's strategy, let's bring in Irwin Simon, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Tilray Brands. Irwin, good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Good to see you. Thank you so much for having me.
So how would you characterize these earnings results today?
Listen, Mark, I think we had a really good quarter. Our overall growth was 9%. Our gross margins were up dramatically. Our net loss was down to about $2 million cash. And, step away for a second, the Canadian market in cannabis, and that's what we're focused on, profitability and growth. So I like what we're doing. I like, we started it as a Canadian cannabis business in 2018, 2019 at a $50 million business. Today, we're approaching the $1 billion. We're diversified. We're the largest cannabis company in Canada by revenue today. We're the 5th largest craft brewer in the U.S., and we're one of the biggest medical cannabis businesses in Europe. So great, strong balance sheet, well-diversified portfolio. We've done a lot of acquisitions with a lot of integration. And, profitability is a big focus on us, and growth is on us. Listen, in Canada, we got a marketplace there where we've got really high excise tax. We pay $1 a gram. The most profitable cannabis company in Canada today is the Canadian government. And I think that's one of the biggest problems in the Canadian market today is how you can make money there because of the cost of excise tax.
Now, in the beverage alcohol segment, Irwin, you've got 20 brands, 15 craft beers. I note that one of the analysts on the call said that this beverage market is kind of small. So what is the size of that market? What's your share of it?
So, as I said before, we're the 5th largest in the craft beer business. The craft beer business is about a $10 billion industry. And our whole thing, Mark, is how we make beer fun again, how we make spirits fun. And, in a little bit of time, we have close to a $300 million business in the U.S. in regards to our craft beer, our spirits business, and our wellness business. My goal is to get this to about a $500 million in size, and that's from organic growth, innovation, new distribution. We just introduced these Delta 9, which are hemp-infused drinks, and we're seeing some good results from that. So the infrastructure is out there. And with that, over the next few years, we will build this out both on cannabis, both on the beverage business and medical cannabis business in Europe. Also, there's a big focus on us growing our whole wellness business, which we've taken our Manitoba Harvest today, which has over 50% shares, both in Canada and the U.S., and we think there's big opportunities with hemp.
Now, Irwin, in the United States, we know that the Department of Justice has recommended that cannabis be Schedule III and not Schedule I. So under the Trump administration, do you foresee that happening, that would actually be officially done? And will they bring in perhaps some interstate banking so cannabis companies will be able to do that as well?
So as I said on my call today, if Tilray can not sell any cannabis in the U.S. If Tilray could sell cannabis in the U.S. today, it'd be, if we could get a 2 to 3% share, it's about $250 million in size for us as a business for us. And that is hypothetically that we could produce in Canada. In Canada today, we have over 5 million square feet of grow. So about 60 metric tons of cannabis we would need to service the U.S. So think about it. We have a strong medical business in Canada today. We have the products. We have the know-how. We have the formulations for pain, for anxiety, for different other diseases. We have a strong medical business, in Europe. So taking all that business and then moving it to the U.S., and we could be in business within 90 days, would be something major for Tilray. Listen, I step back for a second. The Trump administration is focusing on business, focusing on regulatory. And with, cannabis not legalized and a rescheduling coming in place, and think about it. In Canada today, there's over $1 billion, $1.5 billion in excise tax that comes into the Canadian market. Take it in the U.S. and multiply it by 10. There's $15 billion of excise tax that's available to the U.S. government that ultimately can be used for a lot. So I think the Trump administration, during their administration time, will do something with cannabis. And I think it's legalizing medical from a federal standpoint and act on safe banking and do a rescheduling. That's just, my opinion, what I think will happen.
Irwin, I know it's it's no secret that there are those who criticize you for your compensation. You're the highest paid in the industry, according to the numbers, about $10 million as of May 24th. And then previous years, you were paid more than that. So what do you say to the criticism that you can't justify your pay based on where the stock is?
Well, I come back and I say this here. That's on a Canadian. Today, only 2/3 of our business comes from Canada. We're a global company. As I said, we're $1 billion. When I took over this company, we were about $50 million in size. Today, we've grown to $1 billion in size. And with that, majority of my compensation is based on stock and stock performance. I've never sold a share since I've taken over this company. So, you got to look at what my compensation is made up of, not just absolute dollars, and look at the amount.
Okay, and just lastly here with the shares, that you're saying a lot of good things about the company and the prospects, and yet the markets just aren't believing it. What's it going to take to get the stock moving?
Well, I think you can't look at us as a cannabis company and just come back and look at every other Canadian cannabis business and every other cannabis company. In regards to when, the Trump administration came in, every cannabis company declined. I think the big thing is what Tilray has done. What Tilray has done is diversified as a consumer packaged goods company. And like I said, only 2/3 of our sales come from cannabis in Canada today. The majority of our sales come from our beverage business in the U.S., our medical cannabis business in Europe, and our medical distribution business in CC Pharma, Tilray Pharma in Europe. So I think it's just ultimately getting out there and getting people away, looking at us just as a cannabis company and looking at us as a consumer packaged good company with a lot of great brands. So we've brought together multiple categories. We brought together multiple brands and built out an incredible infrastructure. Today, we have over 5 million square feet of grow in Canada. We have 10 manufacturing facilities that produce our beverages. We have 2 facilities in Europe and Manitoba Harvest. So we have the infrastructure. We built out the people.
Right.
We built out over 40 brands. And look what Tilray is, close to $1 billion in size today.
Thanks for taking the time today with us, Irwin.
Thank you.